And then what about the challenges though? And there's always challenges in these kinds of things. As the infrastructure chair, I'm scared to guess as to how many sleepless nights I've had worrying about how things were going to go, and if we were going to get rain on a certain section of trail that was under construction and that kind of thing. But those challenges are minor compared to what a lot of other people face, and all projects have challenges. But we've been very fortunate. We often shake our heads at how lucky we've been for have everything fall into place. I think most people out there, your biggest challenge is going to be to find landowners that will work with you. We have been incredibly fortunate that we have great community-minded individuals who allow their private land to be used openly for trail development, and we were very open with them that our goal here is to be a very significant trail development. So expect a busy network, but they've still been on board with it. So that's been fantastic. And my biggest advice as far as challenges goes is you can't plan your project out entirely. You're going to need to just take the first step. And if you don't have all the answers, you can't just wait for all the answers to come, or else you'll never get off the ground. So you got to get the ball rolling, and momentum. It's amazing how quick it goes. But as you can see from Mr. Van Berg, one of our top provincial cyclists, sometimes you fall, but you just got to get back up and keep going. Municipal involvement. We've been very fortunate that again, because we're in the rural municipality of Dauphin, built our trailhead on City of Dauphin land, and we border a national park. There's been some involvement with all those groups throughout, and we were very fortunate to have municipal involvement, which I would classify as very supportive of the network, and made an effort to not get in our way, which I think sounds maybe callous, but I've heard from a number of other individuals who are involved in trying to get trails going, and they are very envious of the situation we find ourselves in, where the municipality was willing to let us run with our vision and support us where they could, and were there as a resource, but certainly didn't put up any roadblocks, which I think can't be understated. So maybe that's one thing to take away from this. We also had the benefit of having some funds be provided to us, be the $75,000 because of the games coming, and the $30,000 from the RM. The city and the RM have both asked us to apply for grants going forward to help with this. And then another example is we reached out to the RM about erecting some warning signs on a section of the trail that runs along a curvy municipal road. We wanted to put the signs up. We just wanted their approval, and they immediately said, "Well, we'll look after that. Don't worry about it." It was a small gesture on their part, but meant a lot to our club. It was one less thing we had to worry about. So it was great to have municipal involvement that way. But you'll hear about way more municipal involvement in the next panel. And then I'm going to take a quick minute here just to talk to you about and show you our microcrab. And so this was the Western Economic Diversification requirement, where we create some, these are right at our trailhead, so right along the Northgate entrance to the park. And they're really neat little structures, 100 square feet on the inside. They've got electric heat, and you walk up the road to our shared washroom facility, and there's a shower in there too. So these are the interiors of them. They're booking on Airbnb, and we've opened them up, I think, early February, and we've are experiencing a 30% occupancy rate to date, which I think we're pretty happy with given the cold spell that we've had, and we know they'll be busy all summer. There's 5 of them at the trailhead, and they're really neat little accommodations, and certainly sets our network apart. And then just with a couple minutes of my remaining time, I just want to talk to you guys about the regional impact that we hope to have here. The Northgate project is one of the anchor trail systems in a regional trail development approach from communities that surround the Rocky Mountain National Park. It wasn't a concerted effort to get together and do this, but we found that a bunch of communities were in the process of doing this. Assissippi had started, we got going, then Neepawa came and ran with their project really quickly. Minnedosa is doing the same thing. And we locally have been working with Rocky Mountain National Park even before Northgate was established, about having some increased trails and some grooming done on the north side. They have been able to leverage our project with their office and amongst themselves, and they're excited about it. And they've been able to map a further 50 kilometers of trail that would link into our 26-kilometer network. And if we are able to get funding for that, a 75-kilometer trail network with a brewery in town and accommodations, that kind of thing, it becomes an IMBA ride center, which is an International Mountain Bike Association ride center, and that opens up some global tourism potential. Ideally, what we want to do is develop an asset here around the national park that will allow for people to be convinced to fly over from Germany or Britain or wherever when the world opens up, experience Winnipeg, and drive out to our area, experience everything around a national park, Canadian National Park, and then head on home after emptying their wallets. The opportunities for entrepreneurs are endless, who will want to cater to the clientele that, and it feeds off each other. The businesses will attract the tourists, and the tourists will attract more businesses if they're entrepreneurial. And I think 5 years from now, I'm hoping that all of you will look back at the time that you heard about the Northgate trails for the first time and will say, man, that guy was right. They did completely reshape Dauphin and their community. And I encourage you all to promote active living tourism in your respective areas. No trail networks are in competition with each other. The more we have to offer province-wide, the further away we can attract visitors from. So thank you all so much for listening to me on this one, and I look forward to any questions.
Thanks, Kyle. So, yes, as Clayton mentioned, the Hylife Back 40 was initiated from the municipal side. So this project was placed on a 40-acre parcel of land that is located in an unusable spot, really, between our lagoon system and the railroad tracks. So what we ended up with was a 6-kilometer trail with increasing levels of difficulty, 11 runs in total that go from green to black diamond. And this project actually started before COVID, but certainly we leveraged the outdoor experience in what we were creating here when we were writing grants and promoting the project. So how did we get started? So as I mentioned, this parcel of land is located right beside the lagoons, and NIPO is in the process of updating our lagoon system, which, I mean, as economic developers, we understand that this is an important discussion, but it's not very sexy. However, they needed clay to do lagoon upgrades and found this, the hill that was on this parcel of land had good clay. So they actually took 100,000 cubic meters of clay out of the side of this hill and left this mess that you can see in the picture. At the same time, in 2018, NIPWA presented a regional recreation master plan. So both of these projects together created an opportunity. Without the master plan, we would not have been able to explain the need for this project. And the third part that was important in this project was engaged elected officials. We were not pushing rope uphill with this project. They were engaged, they wanted to do this and saw the vision from the very beginning. So this is just a bit of a locator map. So this is Niqua, Farmery Brewery there, downtown core, Hylife Foods. Then you can see the new lagoon pit that was being built, and then the burrow pit just right across the road. And that burrow pit is what has become the Back 40. So as Clayton mentioned, it's good to have the pretty picture. So NIPWA Council committed funds to hire Alex Mann from Scatcliffe Miller Murray to do a design for us for this parcel. So this was the dream. And then he also provided us with a timeline for development and costing, which helped us with our budgeting and also with our grant writing and sponsorship solicitation in the community. So the estimate at the time of development of the plan was about $800,000 cost. So in order to make that palatable for council to bite, and to spread out the town resources that would be required, we divided it into 3 phases, and that allowed us to build the park in phase 1, and then phase 2 and phase 3 to make it look pretty. So the funding, this is always the question. So you'll see at the top here, Dirt Pro. So that was the company that was actually building the lagoon. In their budget, there was a remediation cost of $90,000. That $90,000 would simply have put that mess back to a hayfield. So we leveraged that $90,000 into something amazing. We got $75,000 from Building Sustainable, Canadian Experiences Fund, $150,000. Like all municipalities in Manitoba, we're still waiting for ISIP grant of $275,000. Hylife came on board as a naming sponsor for $100,000. Stella Jones is our local wood treatment plant here in Nipawin. They provided us with $8,500 in lumber. Tree Canada and Home Hardware came on board with $2,800 in trees. Home Hardware has also agreed to build a picnic shelter on site this summer, and that will be fully sponsored by our local Home Hardware. And plus we've had other local sponsorships and donations to the park. And the balance of the project is from Town of Nipawin. So understanding that all of these grants and sponsorships were just question marks when we engaged in this project, the town council understood that they could have been taking on a lot more than just seed funding. So we were told at the beginning that you could build a bike park with a local excavation company. However, Alex recommended Lifetime Outdoors out of BC because they're experts in trail building, plus they ride. So they would sculpt an area of trail and then ride it and fix it and then ride it again. So this is an assurance that you are getting a functional trail ride when you're done. And we were fortunate that COVID opened up a window in August and the team came from BC and stayed at our local campground. And Jeff and Leah and their team were amazing to work with. This cost, the $290,000, was the biggest chunk of our budget. And this is what it looks like. Well, this is what it looked like in the fall of last year. So you can see the train tracks run across the bottom of the photo. Near the top, you can actually see Hylife Foods in the distance. You can see the new twin lagoon cell that was built, and then the bike park in the center. So this, you can see the trails actually increase in progression from right to left across the photo. So in through the trees and at the right-hand side is the green ones. Those are the ones that I ride. And then as you go farther to the left, they get more and more difficult. This is some of the features. So in the top left corner, you'll see these wooden features. We had one of our public works guys take on this project last winter, so the winter of 2020. And he constructed all of these at Public Works. And then the trail company actually went above and beyond and put them all together in a bit of their own skills trail. And this is used by all ages, even little toddlers just love running up and down them when they're at the park. We have an under over, and the bottom large picture you can see kind of from up on top, looking down over the entire